At 2:17 in the morning, Daniel's phone rang. 30 seconds later, his world changed forever. By sunrise, he was sitting in front of an empty chair, a chair he had ignored for years. Now it was the only thing he could see, and hidden beneath that chair was a secret his father never wanted him to discover. A secret that would change everything he believed about love. Daniel Parker was successful. At least that's what everyone said. He had a high-paying job, a beautiful apartment, a luxury car, and a calendar packed with meetings. People admired him. Friends envied him. Relatives used him as an example. But while Daniel was busy building a life, he was slowly missing the people who made that life worth living. Every evening, his father sat in the same wooden chair near the window. His name was Michael Parker, a retired school teacher, a kind man, a patient man, the kind of man who could make anyone feel important. Every evening, he watched the sunset, watched the neighbors return home, and waited for his son. When Daniel finally arrived, Michael would smile. "You're late again." Daniel would laugh. "Busy day, Dad." Then Michael would point to the empty chair beside him. "Sit with me for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes." That was all he ever asked. But Daniel always had something else to do. "Maybe later, Dad." Later. The most dangerous word in the world. Because later sounds harmless. But later is a promise nobody can guarantee. One Sunday afternoon, Michael found an old photo album. His face lit up. "Daniel, come see this." Daniel walked over. Then his phone rang. A client. An opportunity. A business deal. "I'll be back." Michael smiled and nodded. 10 minutes passed. Then 30. Then an hour. Finally, Michael closed the album. Alone. That night, he opened a notebook and wrote something. "Today I wanted to show Daniel the happiest day of my life." He was busy. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. Months passed. One evening, Daniel came home earlier than usual. Michael looked surprised and happy. Very happy. Perfect timing. "For what?" Daniel asked. Michael reached into a drawer and pulled out 2 fishing tickets. Daniel laughed. "You actually bought tickets?" Michael smiled like a little boy. "I thought we could spend Saturday together." For a moment, Daniel almost said yes. Then reality arrived. A major client called. An important meeting appeared. A crisis at work. The trip was cancelled. Michael smiled. "It's okay." But this time, the smile never reached his eyes. The next morning, Daniel found the fishing tickets in the trash, unused. For some reason, that hurt. A year later, Michael started forgetting things. Small things at first. Names. Dates. Appointments. One afternoon, he forgot where he lived. The doctor ordered tests. Michael went alone. A week later, the results arrived. Early stage dementia. The disease would slowly steal his memories. There was no cure. Michael folded the report. put it in his pocket, and walked home. He never told Daniel. Not because he didn't trust him, because he loved him. Daniel was finally achieving everything he had dreamed about. Michael didn't want to become another burden. Instead, he continued writing in his notebook. Doctor says my memory will slowly disappear. I hope I remember Daniel's face for a long time. Weeks later he wrote, forgot my neighbor's name today. Still remember Daniel's first day of school. Another page. Forgot where I left my keys. Still remember holding my son for the first time. Meanwhile, Daniel knew nothing. Life kept moving. Meetings, deadlines, emails, targets, promotions, success. Then one day, Daniel received the biggest promotion of his career. He couldn't wait to tell his father. That night he rushed home. The house was quiet. Michael had already gone to bed. Daniel stood outside the bedroom door. His hand reached toward the handle. Then he stopped. There'll be time tomorrow. He walked away. At 2:17 a.m., the phone rang. Michael had suffered a heart attack. By the time help arrived, it was too late. And suddenly, there was no tomorrow. The funeral came and went. Relatives left. Flowers faded. Silence remained. Every evening, Daniel stared at the empty chair. One rainy evening, while cleaning his father's room, he found a notebook. The notebook Michael had written in for years. Daniel opened it. Page after page, entry after entry. Not complaints, not anger, not disappointment, only love. Then something fell from the back cover. A folded medical report. Daniel froze. His hands started shaking. Dementia. Diagnosed 18 months earlier. He couldn't believe it. His father had been fighting alone. And Daniel never knew. Then another item slipped out. A small sealed envelope. Across the front, Michael had written, "Open only after I'm gone." Daniel's heart pounded. Slowly, he opened it. Inside was an old receipt, 20 years old. A pawn shop receipt. The receipt belonged to his father's wedding watch. The watch Michael wore every day. The watch Daniel's mother had given him. Sold. 20 years ago. There was also a letter. With trembling hands, Daniel unfolded it. Dear Daniel, if you're reading this, I'm probably gone. There's something I never told you. The year you got accepted into university, I didn't have enough money to pay your fees. You were excited. You talked about your future every day. I couldn't let that dream disappear. So I sold the only thing I had left from your mother. My watch. The one she gave me on our wedding day. I traded it for your future. And I would do it again 1,000 times. Tears rolled down Daniel's face. But the letter wasn't finished. You always apologized for being busy. You never understood. Watching you build your life was already my reward. The only thing I wished for was a few moments inside it. Then he reached the final lines. When you become a father, remember this. Children rarely remember what we buy for them. They remember who was there. And then, The final sentence. I am proud of you. Always was. Always will be. Love. Dad. Daniel collapsed beside the chair. Not because his father was gone, but because he finally understood how deeply he had been loved. Years later, Daniel's young daughter walked into his office. Dad, can you play with me? An important email waited. A client waited. Work waited. Then Daniel looked at the chair. Without hesitation, he closed the laptop. Of course. Hours later, she pointed toward the chair. Why do you keep that old chair? Daniel smiled. Because that's where the richest man I ever knew used to sit. Grandpa was rich. Not with money. With love. And he taught me the most important lesson of my life. What lesson? The people who love you don't want your perfection. They want your presence. End note. One day, your company will replace you. Your position will replace you. Your title will replace you. But the people who love you can never replace you. Don't wait for later. Call them. Visit them. Sit with them. Give them 5 minutes. Because one day, all that may remain is an empty chair.